A man is going to court for live streaming castrations. Rap music will be banned at the Easter show this year. And the Italian government seeks to penalize the use of English words. These are the weird stories for Wednesday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in the universe. A man accused of live streaming castrations is facing court. A Norwegian man who had his own genitals, nipples, and a leg amputated appeared in a court this week. He's accused of live streaming the castration of many other men on his, quote, eunuch maker website. You know, he's making eunuchs on the website. Well, I assume this is all consensual. I've never heard of a eunuch maker website. Then again, I'm not a sick individual, so I don't know why I would hear of such things. Although I do a weird news podcast, these things do come across my desk now and then. It doesn't mean I condone it. I've never watched this. I would never watch the live stream of a eunuch maker. I can't even watch those beheading videos. I never have. I know they're on there. I've never witnessed one because I just can't bring myself to do so. This guy's name is Marius Gustafsson. He's 45 years old. Marius, along with 8 other individuals, is alleged to have performed extreme body modifications, including the removal of various men's penises and testicles, and they have streamed the clips for paying subscribers, according to the court. This guy, Gustafsson, originally from Norway, but has lived in London, is apparently the ringleader of a wide-ranging conspiracy involving as many as 29 criminal offenses. He and the other men were said to be part of a subculture of genital nullification, in which men willingly have their genitals removed to become nullos, N-U-L-L-O-S, nullos. These are people who have had genital nullification. I guess it's a gang or a group. I don't know what you do after you have your genitals removed. Just go to the nullo barbecue after that without your genitals. There's a subculture out there that I'm just not familiar with here. I'm sorry, guys. Let's keep reading. This movement is not new, they're saying, the nullification movement. And the case that's playing out in the UK isn't the first high-profile incident relating to this. In 2012, Japanese artist Mao Sugiyama had his genitals removed and then cooked and served to paying guests at a banquet. Wow. That was in 2012, before Weird AF News really kicked off, so I never covered that story, and to be honest, I never heard of that. People ate his genitalia? Did that really occur? Wow, this is outrageous, man. Now, a year ago, this guy Gustafsson was interviewed by the Irish Independent. He claimed he performed the genital nullification procedure on about 58 other men and that he kept the removed genitals inside his freezer or stored them in alcohol. In addition, he explained to the media that he had the procedure done to himself, had his leg amputated, and his penis and nipples because he wanted to look like a Ken doll down there. A Ken doll. You guys have seen a Ken doll, I assume. There's no pee-pee down there. So he wanted to look like a Ken doll for some reason. I guess people might be attracted to that. I don't know what people are into. I think I know, and then I come across a story like this. Now, according to the courts, the charges against Gustafsson include the removal of a man's penis, the clamping of another man's testicles, and the freezing of a man's leg, which eventually required amputation. The court said that he is also charged with making and distributing an indecent image of a child. Oh, so there's some child pornography going on here, which is obviously not okay. Now, there's a total of 9 suspects appearing in the courts, and they alleged that over a 6-year period, they've generated about $250,000 of income from live streaming these procedures. Now, despite the charges, Gustafsson insists that he carried out all procedures in a very professional way using a castration tool called Birdizzo to, quote, help others achieve their bodily goals. The devices are more typically used on cattle or in veterinary settings. The media has quoted neighbors of Gustafsson in London who claim they've seen several ambulances regularly stopping outside the property. Yeah, a lot of people have been brought to the hospital. despite Gustafson claiming that the procedures were done in a very professional way. He's like, well, I'll cut it off professionally, but then, you got to go to the hospital to have the professionals stop the bleeding because I don't know how to do that. This guy. As I've said many times on this podcast, I'm all for people doing whatever they want in their own private lives to their bodies or their minds. But it sounds to me like he's perhaps may have botched some of these. And if you're going to botch these sorts of procedures and have ambulances regularly showing up at your apartment, someone needs to step in my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think of this? Call the show 646-450-2012. There's not going to be any rap music at this year's Royal Easter show. Oh, why not rap music? This story is from Sydney, Australia. Ride operators at this year's Sydney Royal Easter Show have been instructed to not play any rap music in a bid to crack down on violence at this popular annual Easter event. This is just one of the strict new rules that police will put into action when the show opens its doors on April 6th at the Sydney Showground. This is all happening following the death of a 17-year-old carnival worker who was stabbed last year in the middle of a crowd. They're saying, I assume that rap music is the reason for this. Let's keep reading. There was a 14-year-old and two 18-year-olds charged with the murder of that 17-year-old carnival worker from last year. They are behind bars currently. That attack sparked concerns about safety at this Easter event, which attracts thousands of families each year. In response, police will also beef up their presence at the show and implement additional security measures. According to the media, in addition to the rap music ban, lighting has been increased. Anyone being, quote, antisocial will be immediately evicted, and the event will now finish at the new time of 9:30 p.m. Okay, I have a lot of questions here. How do you determine if someone's being antisocial as opposed to just a little tipsy on Easter? Some of us like to throw it back on Easter. I don't know about you. Also, the rap music. The ban on the rap music is the rap music tied to the previous stabbing? I have some questions here. The police have set up a strike force in order to identify, quote, dangerous individuals. And they're going to try to ban them from attending the event. Okay, I guess that's prior to the event. Here's a quote from the commissioner, Stuart Smith. Community safety is our number one priority. And with that in mind, police will be out there in numbers at the show. Our message is simple. Anyone looking for trouble is not welcome and will be dealt with accordingly. Sounds to me like they should also ban my Australian accent because that's dangerous as well and not good. Okay, so we have the Sydney Royal Easter Show General Manager, Murray Wilton, who is making no apologies for these new draconian rules, insisting that the changes would make the event a safe environment for all attendees. Here's a quote from him. I won't even do the accent. Well, following the incident last year, we did a detailed security risk analysis. We've been working with the police for months on this, and the outcome is fairly detailed and sophisticated. Our plan is very sophisticated. The carnival operators are all on board with us. They're going to be closing earlier. There's going to be more lights this year, and we're going to change the kind of music that's played here. We want it to be a safe environment for everyone involved, of course. Okay, I got it. This guy's very concerned about the safety of everyone, of course. But maybe you should ban knives as well. That should be a thing. That wasn't in your list of security measures. I would think you would want knives out of there. And I hate to break the news to you, but there was violence before rap music was invented. Do you recall? There was a lot of violence back then. What about that Genghis Khan guy? He did a lot of mayhem. He did a lot of mayhem. He constructed a lot of mayhem situations without any rap music at his disposal. So before rap music, there was just dance battles, as you recall. And I don't think anyone was stabbed. Although, I don't know. I saw West Side Story. They had knives. Can you stab someone to Adele? I think you can. So, I mean, you might want to look out for that as well. Hello? Stab. Would you like to easily create and distribute a podcast everywhere, even earn money all in one place for free? Well, try Spotify for Podcasters. Record and edit on your phone or computer. You can send it to Spotify and everywhere podcasts are heard. They even have video podcasting options as well. Spotify for Podcasters allows you to earn money with ads and subscriptions. Best of all, it's free. Try it. Download Spotify for Podcasters or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your life, man. Yay! The Italian government wants to ban English words. The right-wing party, led by Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, has pushed forward new legislation which will punish the use of English and other foreign words in official communications with fines up to 100,000 euro or lira. What are they using in Italy? Don't they pay for everything in pepperoni? I think they pay in pepperoni over there. Oh, that'll cost you 10 pepperoni. The goal of the legislation here, which has received wide condemnation in the country, even by Italy's most renowned scholars of Italian linguistics. The goal is to defend and promote the Italian language and to protect the national identity, according to Meloni's party. The new proposal, supported by Meloni, was introduced by Fabio Rampelli. Oh, I love these Italian names. Fabio, Meloni. Hey. I just picture them with long hair down to their ass, eating pepperoni and sipping on red wine in the sunshine. What a good life. Fabio is a member of Italy's lower chamber of deputies. He tweeted that he is concerned with this so-called Anglomania, and he wants to get Italian politicians and bureaucrats fined if they buy into this Anglomania. Here's a quote from Rampelli. In the lower chamber of deputies, we speak Italian. We speak Italian in the chamber of deputies. And we continue our battle for the use of our language instead of English. Ew, English is smelly. Ew, I poo on the English. We can't understand such things. Why we call it a dispenser? This automatic hand sanitizer dispenser? Why you call it dispenser? The English word? They want the government to have their officials use the much more wordy Italian expression for dispenser, which is dispensatore di liquido igienizzante per le mani, which I think means dispenser of liquid for washing your hands, which is very long. I think you should use dispenser, Rampelli. That's just my opinion. The article goes on to say that the Italian language, like most other languages in Europe, has adopted many English terms in recent years, in part because these were terms indicating new things which did not exist and were not part of the Italian tradition, such words as social media, computer, smart working. Now it says here, according to the latest data, the well-respected Italian language encyclopedia called Treccani currently contains 9,000 English words, 800,000 Italian words. However, since 2000, the number of English words that have been inserted into the Italian language has grown by over 700%. They want to put a stop to this, obviously. The adoption of English words into the Italian language is an object of endless debate in Italy, apparently. Opinions are split between protecting the integrity of the national language and accepting that living languages are fluid and constantly evolving. Yeah, I mean, they've been doing this in France for a long, long time. They don't want their language internationalized as well because they feel that it's essential to their cultural heritage. So in France, you don't even say the computer. You say ordinateur or some such word. I think computer is better, but you know, I'm not French. You know, I'm biased, in other words. But I appreciate the many different languages that are out there, and I think whatever you can do to protect them as part of your cultural heritage, I'm okay with that. But then you maybe find a middle ground on some cases, because a lot of the new words spring out of tech, and they come from whatever geographical location that invention came from or the usage came from. So, you know, by not adopting that word, you might limit your communication in that industry. So you should consider that. Could you give us an example of what you're talking about, Jonesy? Well, I'm glad you asked. Okay, let's try this. Let's use the word influencer, for instance. Influencer obviously came out of the US, this word, but I assume it's known worldwide what an influencer is. And so if you use a different word, you know, that's limiting your communication on a global scale when you're speaking within that industry. I assume if you might work in that industry. And so if you're using some word that is not widely used, people may, not get your message, in other words. Am I out of my mind here? I'm just trying to piece this together with some sort of rationality. But at the same time, I want to respect Italian heritage. I'm Italian myself. My ancestors have been traced back to, among other places, Oliveri, Sicily, which is a little seaside village, and I would love to visit it someday. Any listeners in Oliveri, Sicily, that have a couch for me? I would love that. Yay! I record weird news inside a closet so I can deliver weird news to the rest of the world. This guy's enjoying 80s song parodies. That's what you get with Weird AF News, because I'm clearly out of my mind. But thanks for accepting me for who I am in all my weird colors. I appreciate that. I'm going to give thanks and praise to an OG, big fan, longtime listener, and friend of the show, Ryan Sprague. Chef Ryan was visiting Los Angeles, reached out to me, and we got together and got ramen, and it was amazing. And then we had a couple beers and shots, and we smoked some herbs of some sort. I'm not going to tell you what they are because they're not legal everywhere. So I'll just say we did smoke some herbs as well. So anyways, we had a nice time. It's very, very, very cool. Had long conversations with Ryan over the years, so it was nice to finally meet him. I really enjoy meeting loyal listeners of the show, and have done so in the past. Not too many, but enough. And we'll continue to do so in the future. I always invite my listeners to come to see a live show if I happen to be in your area, or if you happen to be visiting Los Angeles, we can get you to a show in the area, maybe, if I'm here and doing shows, which I frequently am. So anyways, yeah, reach out to me. I'm easy to reach out to. All right, we're losing it here. funnyjones@gmail.com. And I have a phone number, 646-450-2012. And you can always slide into my DMs. Ooh, slide into those DMs. Slide it in. @FunnyJones. How about that? Anyways, yeah. I want to thank everybody who's supported the show over the years. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. If you're new to the show, just FYI, we do weird news 5 days a week. So that's what you're getting here. And some of them are wonderful episodes, and some of them are really crap. It's just, sometimes it's crap. I'm not going to lie. Because this is just what's going on when you do a daily news show. It's just, they're not all going to be winners, all right? So that's how it is. If you want to support the show, weirdafnews.com. Yeah, that's right, the official website. There's ways to support the show. You can buy me a coffee, or you can join the Patreon, that kind of thing. So anyways, that's about it for the outro. I hope I've entertained you with this episode, and as always, I appreciate your time, and I love you, and good luck with your life, man.